right. Well, all right. In keeping with the theme of my last YouTube video, I have decided to go live today and to discuss some things that have been coming to mind on how we can achieve our dreams and make ourselves feel better. So this is not a new concept. COVID didn't cause all the reasons the whole world is sad or depressed right now. Before COVID, we had the H1N1. We had MRSA. We had, Spanish influenza back in the early turn of the century. So, it feels like a lot of times when things happen, we just look for something or someone to blame. And so I want to talk about why it is important how we speak to ourselves. Not so much, it can be how others that we find valuable speak to us, but how do we speak to ourselves? I think we never realize until serious damage is done how important it is to speak to yourself with respect. To never speak of yourself in a negative way. If you wouldn't allow someone else to do it, then you shouldn't do it to yourself. So I started to think about staying with the theme of Steve Madden, my inspiration, learning about Steve Madden. I started to dig a little deeper to learn more about other people in the world that have overcome extreme adversity and still moved forward to build an empire. And I'm not talking about just a financial empire. I'm talking about to go down in history as someone that made a mark. And so I found a couple of people. And the first person that came to mind, if you'll bear with me, this video is not going to be very long. I hope if you're enjoying this content, you certainly will go and subscribe and hit the like button and all that. But if you don't, I understand. People come, people go, and all that. But today's message is really about how we speak to ourselves. And if you wouldn't allow somebody else to abuse you, why would you abuse yourself? And I've been guilty of that a few times over the years. So in keeping with the theme of Steve Madden and his inspiration, I have searched a little bit further and found some other individuals that are very well known that you would never believe the adversity that they came back from. And again, I'm not just talking about a financial empire, I'm talking about impacting humanity. So let's talk about, not going to use those. Can I have my glasses on the counter there? Albert Einstein. He was one of the most influential physicists of the 20th century. Albert Einstein said, thank you. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. So, Albert Einstein, right? The whole world knows who Albert Einstein is. I think his brain was donated to the Smithsonian. So, Albert Einstein was a pretty amazing guy, but if you look into his story, he really came back from tremendous adversity. Another person in history that came back from tremendous adversity is Walt Disney. We all know who Walt Disney is. Walt Disney said, all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Disney's mindset was characterized by his unwavering optimism and his ability to look beyond failures and see opportunities for innovation. He strongly believed in the power of dreams and the vision in achieving personal and professional success. That's pretty profound. I'll bet Walt Disney was probably maybe called a few names. Maybe they said he was silly for wanting to do these cartoons and caricatures, and some of them were pretty silly and crude back in the day, like what Mickey Mouse originally looked like. Walt Disney really came back from immense adversity. My personal favorite, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs believes in the ability to take risks and challenge the status quo. I think if you asked my husband or my family, I kind of have a reputation for, if you tell me no, hold my beer, because I'm going to do it. If you tell me it can't be done, pretty much everything in my life I was told, Helen, it can't be done. You won't succeed. Everybody's doing that. Why waste your time? Every single thing I've done. You know, I've owned a lot of trademarks. In Canada, I own the trademark A Taste of Italy, Anthony's Fine Italian Cuisine, and I own the trademark Billy the Kid in Canada. You cannot own him in the United States because he was an American outlaw. But as soon as I found out through my lawyer that I could buy the trademark Billy the Kid in Canada, I jumped on it. And I went and did signage. It gave me the ability to do my signage with my son Billy's portrait, his little face. At the time, he was only about 4 or 5 years old, with cuffed up shirts like he had his dad's shirt on, and rolled up coveralls with oversized cowboy boots and a crooked cowboy hat. And so every single thing I've done has been in the face of major adversity and not letting my childhood or my past determine my future. I wasted 20 years being stuck. I am bound and down to make sure not one more day is wasted. I have horrific asthma. I have a couple of other health issues I'm not really prepared to put out there. One of them is pretty serious that I have to resolve very soon. Resolving that is going to take tremendous courage. But it occurred to me, I have survived 100% of all the things that were meant to kill me or destroy me. I've survived 100% because I'm here with you today. So, how we speak to each other, to ourselves. I think we can hurt ourselves more than anyone else can hurt us. Now watch. How I speak to myself determines how I feel today. And I am going to do something, by the way, with this backdrop when I get all this stuff upgraded. That is going to happen. So bear with me on all the horse stuff behind me. But how you speak to yourself and what what you allow, because our brains are sponges, what you allow people to speak into your ear goes into your heart and your brain. And essentially, it goes into your bloodstream. And the brain doesn't know any different, so it starts to believe it. When you tell children they're stupid, why did you do that? I can't believe you did that. What's wrong with you? I never wanted you. Everything we tell our children, their brain absorbs. I know I haven't always said the perfect politically correct thing, I know. And what I'm telling you, I have learned over the years, there is power in our words. There is power in the tongue. You can make someone's day, or you can destroy someone's day. You can give someone the courage to go on to another day, or you could remind them why it's better to give up. So how we speak to ourselves is probably the most important thing. I have negatively talked to myself for about 20 years. I didn't want to wear makeup. I didn't want to sing anymore. I didn't think I could ride anymore. I questioned everything I did. So I've been lately, now even with my big psychology degree out of UMA, the professors didn't teach this. It just kind of came to me the last couple of days, realizing I have goals that I have set for this summer. Because you remember, I promised myself I'm going to turn 60 November 30th. You all remember, I promised myself I am going to reach those goals. Those that want to be with me on that ride, you're welcome. But if you are going to get in the car with me, the proverbial car with me, to attack or make me feel that I can't do it, or to remind me how you feel about me or whatever, that is not going to happen, because I realize I am in the last chapter of my life. So how we speak to ourselves is paramount. For instance, when you put on a good pair of sunglasses, look what that does. Now I can look at myself, putting on a good pair of sunglasses like Ray-Bans or whatever. These aren't even expensive. These are my daughter Tony's. Man, you look in the mirror, you poof up your hair a little, you put on a little lipstick, now you feel badass again, right? You're not seeing what isn't correct and what isn't good. You're just seeing, wow, a simple thing, a pair of sunglasses can make you feel so good. Now, this pair of sunglasses I wear when I got the leather on and the leather boots and the whole, I like that biker vibe look. I did a little bit of time in that world, and these glasses kind of make you feel a little badass. So how am I talking to myself today? Not like a lot of people would hope I'm talking to myself. Yes, and I could dye my hair. But you know what? I'm embracing it. Oh, maybe a 50 or 60-year-old woman shouldn't have long hair, because that's for 20-year-olds. Who cares? I can have long hair if I want to. So, putting on a pair of good biker shades makes you put a little sass in your step, makes you feel like, I can do this, right? And take that off. Now, I put my Hilaria Baldwin glasses on. Wait, that wasn't supposed to be part of this. All right, then I put these on. Sort of gives you a more future vibe. You think you can, sit on a beach, scope out some guys. I don't know. I don't do those things anymore. How am I talking to myself today? I don't know, but putting on a pair of sunglasses, brushing your teeth, putting on a little bit of makeup, puffing your hair up, putting a little effort in, can change the way you feel about yourself. And I'm going to tell you, I studied psychology in Massachusetts in my early 20s. I went to Canada and studied it there under Richard Carrier and Bill Campbell for literally 10 years. Then moved back here in 2004 and went after a pretty big, impressive degree out of UMA. I have like a $70,000 or $80,000 psychology degree. And guess what? I never learned about how I talk to myself. I have a good friend. We have a good friend that's in the music world. And I took the time over the last month to go back and watch all of his music videos, because they videotaped everywhere he played when he had his band. And I mean, come on, the news picked it up. Everybody where he lived knew about his band. And I watched him on stage, and he was like charismatic and confident and got into it. And the crowds that were in front of him were like, yes. And then the band breaks up. He goes solo. He's going to go into places and sing alone. And 2 weeks ago, he was nervous. And I thought, how can you be nervous? You're like amazing. You sing like a dream. Oh my God. You got tone and range, and you got this. You got style. How could you be afraid? Then today, someone said to me, wow, I'm surprised you're wondering about that, Helen, because you got a pretty big psychology degree. Didn't you learn that in college? I was talking to the pharmacist at Walmart, and I said, no, they never taught us this, about how we talk to ourselves. It really came down to, we were talking about what meds I should be on for my asthma. And she suggested that maybe I take something, just a whatever, a beta blocker, to make sure I don't feel anxious at all. And she said, you can do this. And I said, yeah, I got to go to Boston to take care of this other thing that I have not taken care of in 4 years. And I really need to make it to get home. And she said, you just got to tell yourself you can. So I walked out of Walmart and I thought, man, I've been telling myself all this time, you can't. Why? Because other people have been telling me I can't. You won't do that. You'll never do that. Oh, did you hear she was going to do that? She'll never do that. And then I come home and I go, I can't do that. What if I fail? Then they're going to know I failed. I'm going to fail in front of everyone. And then, about 4 o'clock this morning, I had to get up to take my breathing treatment. And I was sitting at the kitchen table over a cup of coffee, and I thought of my friend who is doing amazing now, and he's getting out there, and he's putting his career back together. And I thought, he did it. So, but he was talking negative to himself at first. And I thought, wow, talking negative to yourself really can debilitate you. You don't want to fail. You don't want to be up in front of a crowd and possibly miss a note or get sidetracked or see someone sitting in their underwear, which is what I told him when he first played. Hey, just picture all the people sitting in their underwear. He goes, yeah, I can't do that. That would be perverted. But it just has dawned on me how we allow people to speak to us, and more importantly, how we speak to ourselves. So I've decided I don't know, if you walked into a restaurant or a bar, and you met me like this, you'd be like, oh, she looks, I don't know, like she probably has a little anxiety or whatever. But then you walk in and you meet a girl that feeling confident. And automatically you start taking off the list of the things you can do to that girl. So how we speak to each other, how we present ourselves. My mother used to say, You will never be able to change what you are willing to tolerate. Sounds simple. You will never be able to change what you are willing to tolerate. It kind of goes hand in hand with the true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. This is not new knowledge. This is not new. So, because I studied psychology, I started to think about beta blockers. The whole world's on beta blockers right now. My goodness. The whole world is claiming anxiety and ADHD and, all these things that are really debilitating. And the meds they give you for these things can do wonderful things, or if you don't need them, can do damage and set you back. So what am I prepared to do to move myself forward? Well, one, I shared with you the other night, I have to set boundaries. And if you're in a world where people are, in Italian we say, cacchierones. A cacchierone is someone that's constantly in your ear, trying to infiltrate your brain and cause drama. That's Italian, cacchierone. Okay? If you are allowing people in your ear, or trauma dumping means I've got a million problems I'm not prepared to deal with, but guess what? I'm going to call you, and I hope you answer the phone, because I'm controlling the narrative, and I'm going to trauma dump on you for as long as I need. Heaven's sakes, do not try and get a word in edgewise. I'm going to trauma dump on you, and then when you can't handle it, I'm going to get pissed off and then end my friendship with you. That's a trauma dump. I also have been made aware of someone that did this to a couple. I consider myself an empath. I'm very empathetic to people. Chris, not so much. No. Chris came from good people that did the work and took care of their family, stayed home, did the right thing. And then they raised Chris and Charlie, who were amazing and well-rounded and calm and didn't have all the crap that all my parents' kids have. Anxiety and social anxiety and probably a million other things. So you need to set boundaries. If in your world you are just having this small vision right now of who you want to be or getting back to who you were, you are not going to move forward into the amazing blessings that God has for you. Dragging along people that have done everything in their power to avoid God's blessings. Okay? That doesn't mean anybody in my life is bad. No, my family is actually really good. They're really good people. We just don't have good coping skills and how to maintain healthy relationships. When I left and separated from the family in 1993, it ended that daily connection. So moving away, working, building restaurants, building, friendships, acquiring property, I put myself in a different mindset. When Boston started to change, I said, I'm out of here. My girlfriend Jody accidentally got shot coming home from bingo one night. A drug deal was going bad on the next street over from where I lived, and a bullet ricocheted and caught her in the heart. Beautiful girl. We were pregnant at the same time together. My ex and her ex were best friends. So what happened in that moment? I scooped my babies up, and I said, I got two choices. I can train horses. I'm pretty good in the medical field, so I can get a job in a vet clinic, or I can work in a hospital because I know how to do vitals and all them things. So what am I going to do? I literally, May rolled around, May 19th, I scooped my kids up and headed for higher ground, and I left everybody behind. Needless to say, a lot of people resented me for that. Family thought, well, we're here. Okay, but you can leave too. Why are you there if it's bad? So now that we have this beautiful, peaceful world, 20 years later, I've lost a lot of people that I never thought I would lose and that I have been maintained to be extremely loyal to. Another revelation lately. Loyalty and respect is a two-way street. You need to respect boundaries and not trauma dump on people. I may have done that a time or two, and I regret it because it has been done to me, and it's not healthy. And then when I don't come up with the right answers or solutions, I'm trash under someone's feet. So the people I surround myself with now are people, second chance people that have come back from adversity. Why do I love these people most? Because they have courage and strength and self-introspection, where they're willing to say, I didn't do that right 20 years ago. And that they look and they realize we're only going to live once. We only can change today. I cannot change one thing I said or did 20 years ago or a month ago or 5 minutes ago. I am here now. Everybody grows. Do you know that the human body changes completely every 7 years? New brain cells, new blood is flowing. We have the ability to change, but the brain tends to be like a muddy road, and they're going over the road and going over the road, and then you come along and you try and drive on that road and stay out of the big heavy grooves. And you know what? If you're not careful and you're not watching yourself, you'll fall into the grooves. So I just realized I have a propensity for allowing negativity and never speaking up when someone talks inappropriately to me, meaning mean or hateful, or to not see my value, or even be humanly decent to me. And there's never been consequences for treating me badly. I know of a couple that allowed somebody to do this to them over a year. And that person that did it, in my opinion, and I can say this with a psychology degree, I think she was narcissistic, and I think she had sociopathic tendencies. Because I saw what she did and how she went like a Jenga game, trying to take the important pieces of their family structure away. She was not happy till she was controlling all the thoughts that they were allowed to think, all the while saying, I'm your best friend. Trust me on this. We're going to do things this way, and I got you, trust me. And after a year, everybody's lucky to survive. You cannot do that to people. And unfortunately, mental illness and undiagnosed mental illness is probably more serious in this country than cancer, okay? And it kills more people because somebody that is narcissistic with sociopathic tendencies, and I did not say this behind anybody's back, I said it right to someone that was closely, involved with that person. That person is a danger. That person is a danger because the goal was she doesn't feel nothing about herself, so she's going to come in and take what you have. So without getting too much into that, be conscious of the fact there's a lot of mental illness in this world. Whether it's general anxiety or general anxiety, whether it's PTSD because they got attacked by a dog, or complex PTSD because they maybe were hurt as a child, okay? And a lot of things can look like mental illness, but it's not, like drug addiction, like being in the delirium tremens. If you're my age, you know, it was a big thing back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. People winding up in emergency rooms in the DTs, talking cuckoo. That looks like mental illness too. So, how do we fix this? We fix it by looking in the mirror every day, saying, just for today, I'm going to be the best that I can. Help me to be useful to someone, Lord. Help me to choose my words before they spill out of my mouth. Help me to be an asset to someone and not a detriment. Help me to say nothing if I can't say something positive. And for goodness sake, help me to forgive the people that have hurt me and currently choose to continue hurting me. And they know they're hurting me. And somehow or another, when you see them, they look powerful. I made them powerful because they knew they were hurting me. And I cried and I begged. They're very close to me. This is not a neighbor down the road we're talking about where you can just say, hey, I'm going to drive the other way. These are people I would have laid my life down for. So what I'm telling you is, we came in alone, we're going out alone. No matter who it is that is sucking the life out of you and trying to program your mind into thinking you're a failure, you're no good, you can't do it, you're not worthy of love. I'm telling you, you are. And no, my college degree didn't teach me that. The School of Hard Knocks taught me that. Winding up alone, I mean, I have people around me, but emotionally alone, crying out to God, how did I get here? I didn't even see this all happening. I never intentionally hurt anybody. Why does everybody mad at me right now? And I realized because I didn't have boundaries. I gave money and assets and big dollar items, never expecting anything in return. And then when they treated me like crap the next time if I couldn't give it, I felt bad. And then in my own mind, I forgot about the asset. I forgot about the monetary gift. Like, I'm going to just tell you something that I probably shouldn't share. But it's true, and I can prove it. I raised my children on the Bible, in church, and because I never would ask anybody for anything, I had a lot on my plate. My restaurants and my rental properties and my mother's house I bought her and I co-signed for. And again, I told you the other night, I stretched myself so thin. But I never asked anything for anybody. I have a sister that lives 45 miles from me to the north, and I have helped her financially to the tune of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over my life. And I'm the baby of the family. Thousands and thousands and thousands. And wait, it gets better. I helped her oldest son to the tune of over $10,000 to pay all the stuff he did wrong in his life so he could get his daughter back that I had custody of for 2 years. People forget this. Then her other son, the youngest son, comes into my life, wreaks destruction, does things that are irreprehensible, and before he did it, I spent $10,000 fixing his problems. Then one of her twin daughters was in trouble financially 100 times in her life. Who drove? Who drove from Canada down to Boston? Sometimes 3 times in a month. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars I'm never going to get back. And I don't care. But these are the people that don't pick the phone up and say, hey, it dawned on me, you really were good to me. No, when the buck stops, the loyalty stops. These are the things. Here's the difference between me and my husband, Chris. Chris is the nicest guy in the world. You want a cup of coffee, he'll give you a cup of coffee. He'll even make the cup of coffee for you. But he is not an empath. He is not going to lay his life down and everything he worked for so that you can come and rape it. Not happening. Now me, every day, so-and-so needs help. Do you mind if I'm going to send so-and-so there? And I wish I could tell you that the people in my life over the years still don't come forward hinting around that they need help. Like, What? Like, hello, God helps those that help themselves. I've helped you, and I'm still garbage under your feet. So my point is, how are we talking to ourselves? How are we talking to ourselves? I'm done talking to myself negatively. Are you done talking to yourself negatively? Are you done letting people take everything you worked for, and your time, and your emotions, and your patience, and your self-worth? Are you done? Because I'm done. And I have to live without people I thought I would die for. We came in alone, we're going out alone. That's the message. And there are people that have built empires in this world and will go down in history. And they came back from adversity and being talked negatively to. So the message today is, how are you letting people talk to you? And more importantly, how are you talking to yourself? Because I can talk myself into something. I can talk myself out of it. And God knows I have talked myself out of doing stuff for myself. And things that would have really propelled me into a much larger financial situation that I am in right now. So, we're not just talking about finances. We're talking about what we allow in our brain, what we allow in our eyes to set on, what we allowed people to tell us, goes into our mind, goes into our heart, and it sits there. And then sooner or later it winds up in our bloodstream, making us sick. So, that's my message. What are you telling yourself? You can't, or you can. My challenge to you today is flip the script, baby girl. Flip the script on all the people that said you can't. And I'm saying this as much for me as I am for the people that really responded to my last live. Flip the script. They'll never see it coming. And stop telling everyone everything. Ooh, this is hard for me. Oh, man, you don't need permission. Oh, man, Chris says that to me all the time. You want to do something with your dog program? Do it. You don't got to answer from nobody. You do it, and if you build it, they will come. Why are you letting your clients and the dog page predict what you're going to do in the future? If you think using Bruno on Kiana with Patton is a good thing, do it. You don't need anybody's permission. I mean, obviously, I'd have to DNA each puppy, but it's simple things like that. Oh, if I breed Kiana to Bruno and Patton, someone will think I'm stupid for doing that or whatever. No. I'm setting the rules. I'm doing my life the way I want to. You want to be on the ride with me? Cool. If you don't, I'm prepared to let you go. So, another thing. If you want to have a good friend, be a good friend. If you want to have a best friend, be a best friend. If you want people to be honest with you, be honest with themselves. Be honest with them. If you want loyalty, be loyal. But all that is a two-way street. I'm going to go. I got a cup of coffee coming with my name on it. You heard it all here first. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button. Will you please? I need to know, because there are days I don't want to go live and I don't want to go film the dogs and edit it and all that. This summer, I think I'm going to set up an actual podcast room. I don't know. Thinking about it. But, all right. You got a friend in me. If you have any questions, call me, 207-694-1200. But again, I'm in the mindset of moving forward. I am not going to help you stay stuck. You may get some tough love from me. You want to move forward? I'll help you move forward. We're going to dislodge some people to keep telling you, you know, my mother-in-law would say, putting the maloikia in Italian, putting the evil eye or the maloikia on you. And not everybody that you're talking to is your friend. And not everybody that smiles at you is your friend. Your friend is the one that gets in the fight with you, gets in the dirt with you, and stays without controlling you. Good friends don't control each other. Good friends let you be you. And they don't want you to fail. And they don't want to wreck your marriage. They don't want to see your family break up. That's not a friend. A friend wants you to be the best that you can be. So, that's what I want for a friend in my life. So, I'll be that in my life. Hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, and I'm there for somebody that's not going to be there for me, and they're going to just take me on a ride, then yeah, I got to walk. I've walked on people I would have died for. So, that's it. All right. What are your thoughts? This may be the theme here for a little bit. And sometimes we got to have self-preservation. Save your own ass as you're going out the door. Sorry. That's some tough love right there. I've had to save my own ass going out the door. All right. I got a cup of coffee with my name on it. I'm making a stew my mother used to make. And I got to go take some more asthma meds. But we'll meet again here soon. Drop me a comment. For goodness sake, hit that subscribe button, will you please? Have a good day.